Welcome, weary travelers. Please make yourselves at home. Why, I, Homer, should tell you a tale as you rest your tired bones for a while. Long ago, in a land where rugged cliffs meet glassy seas, there lived a unique people. These people were called the Hellenes, or you might know them better by their Roman name, the Greci, or in your tongue, the Greeks. The Greeks valued wisdom and beauty and excelled in art, literature, and architecture and athletics. And they built their kingdoms to reflect these values. Now please allow my fellow poet Hesiod to continue the tale. The Greeks were surrounded by many neighbors who worshipped hideous gods of wood and stone, fearful gods who enjoyed human sacrifice. The Greeks prided themselves in being unlike their foolish neighbors. Instead of roughly carved, cruel, and barbaric gods, they fashioned their gods in the image of man with all his virtues and vices. The great playwright Sophocles will tell you more.
The gods resembled mankind well in both looks and manners, yet keeping in mind their love for beauty. And the Greeks imagined beings who were mightier and wiser and radiant than mere mortals, yet keeping in mind their love for beauty. And the Greeks insisted that despite their vices, that these gods were perfect and without fault, and they were perfect reflections of our own nature. The tale of these gods celebrated our strengths and revealed our weaknesses. Euripides, my fellow playwright, will carry on from here.
The Greeks imagined a gorgeous kingdom for the gods upon the tallest peak in their land. High atop Mount Olympus, the gods lived in a golden temple built by their immortal uncles, the Cyclops. Within this splendid temple were 12 golden thrones, one for each of the most important gods.
Unfortunately, mere mortals could never endure gazing upon the gods in all their radiance. And this grand pantheon can never be seen by mortal eyes, since the summit of Mount Olympus is always hidden in fluffy light clouds. And so we will need someone greater than man to continue this story. I will call upon the muses to help.
We have spoken to the gods and have goodness to share. Dear mortals, just for today, the gods have seen fit to tone down their radiance and roll back the clouds, so that you may behold them in their Olympian banquet hall. They have allowed for my siblings and I to guide you back to the time of the ancient Greeks, back to their rugged cliffs and glassy seas, back to their tales of beauty and wisdom. Please indulge us in some brief introductions.
Mankind to write songs of praise to the gods. For, qui bene cantat bis orat, he who sings well praises twice. Melpomene, muse of tragedy. Sic lacrimae rerum, there are tears for things I am the master of the tragic and depressing. Some of the saddest tales ever told have been my creation. After all, who doesn't enjoy a good cry? Resume Tanati, Sumichi. Can you help laughing, friends? Thalia, muse of comedy. Like many of you, I prefer stories with happy endings, so I like my sister's drama by inspiring joyful tales.
Let us begin with a history lesson before we enter Mount Olympus. It all started with my grandmother, Gaia. You see, for a long time, she was all that existed, and since nothing and no one lived on her, she was lonely and downcast. But one day, she happened to lift up her eyes and see my grandfather, Uranus the sky. He wore a crown which was speckled with bright shining stars and caught Gaia's eye quite easily. It was not long before Gaia and Uranus were married, both overjoyed to finally have some company.
Uranus quickly became known as the mighty lord of the universe. He was respected and feared by all. Soon after their marriage, Gaia became Mother Earth, bountiful and full of life. All living things arose from her. The couple's first set of children was a set of 12 glorious gods and goddesses, the Titans. My own mother, Mnemosyne, goddess of memory, was one of them. These gods were strong and mighty like their father, and beautiful like their mother. Their second set of children was less beautiful to behold, but equally strong and talented. They were the three Cyclops-scale metalsmiths with one shining eye in the center of their foreheads. Uranus found them rather disgusting and did not take as much as pride in them.
The third set of children was quite a sight. These three children each had 50 heads and 100 arms. Uranus was even more disgusted by them. Cruelly, Uranus seized a Cyclops and the 50-headed children and threw them into Tartarus, the darkest of all pits.
Deep, deep under the earth!
Poor Gaia was not pleased with this at all. She loved all her children and wished for them to be free. So after some thought, she fashioned a sickle and went to the Titans to ask for their help in defeating Uranus and rescuing her children. But only Cronus, the youngest Titan, was brave enough to volunteer.
Although I am young, I am strong. I will free my brothers using the sickle my mother gave me.
Young Cronus was now the new lord of the universe. Perhaps he will learn from the mistakes of his father and show more kindness to his offspring. Let us continue on and see.
Cronus did not fear his siblings as he had promised his mother. As a result, Gaia was very angry with him. Instead, Cronus married the Titaness Rhea and took pride in his power over the world. During his reign, mankind enjoyed a peaceful golden age, living a prosperous life safe from theft and violence. It was a glorious age on earth. However, it soon became clear that Cronus had learned nothing from his father's mistakes, wanting to prevent his children from overthrowing him like he had done to his father. Cronus swallowed each one of them as soon as they were born.
wonderful plan. Instead of my newborn son Zeus, I'll do Cronus the Raw.
Rhea hid Zeus on the island of Crete, where he was able to grow up safely. Cronus never knew he was there. Like his father before him, Zeus, the youngest of his siblings, soon grew to be the mightiest of the gods.
Now that it is time for me to finish my brothers and sisters, I'll use this arrow to beat them to rescue my servants so they can share my pride.
Zeus won a great victory over Cronus and became the next lord of the universe. He set the Cyclops free, sent the Titans to Tartarus and a few other spots, and asked the 50-headed children to stand guard at the gates of Tartarus. Mother Earth was not pleased with this outcome. Once again, some of her children were trapped in Tartarus. She tried a few times to overthrow Zeus, but never quite succeeded. It seems the fates wanted him in charge. Zeus ruled very differently than his father and grandfather. He was glad to share his power with his siblings and several of his grandchildren. So he even requested a golden throne to be built for each of them. So now please, make yourselves at home as we enter into the banquet hall of Mount Olympus. Here we will witness Hermes announcing the arrival of the gods, beginning with Zeus's siblings.
Her Majesty, Hera, the Queen of Olympus.
I am the beautiful Queen of Olympus, and I am very jealous. Zeus fears nothing except my fits of temper. I detest all of Zeus's other wives, especially the mortal ones. Whenever I see that Zeus has another wife, I find a way to make her life miserable. One of my favorite torments is to send a swarm of gadflies after my enemies.
Hestia, the goddess of the heart.
I tend the sacred fire here on Mount Olympus, and every hope on earth is an altar to me. Unlike my sister Hera, I prefer gentleness and kindness.
Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, and her lovely daughter Persephone.
I cause all plants and crops to grow, providing beauty and food for the people of earth. My daughter Persephone is my constant companion. I love her dearly and cannot bear to have her out of my sight. But one day, while we were visiting Earth, she was playing in the meadow. She wandered away from me. I did not know where my daughter had gone. I searched far and wide, but could not find my precious daughter. But, with the help of the swineherd, I soon discovered that she had been stolen by Hades.
Hades, my gloomy uncle.
I am the Lord of the Dead, that stole Persephone from the god of beauty. Hades took me to the underworld, and there I learned that mortals fear him so much that they won't even say his name, lest they catch his attention. Instead, they call him the Rich One, because his realm contains all the precious things of the earth, like gold, silver, and gemstones. They also call him the Hospitable One, because he always has plenty of room for all who enter his gates. After he stole me, I became his wife and queen of the underworld. Though I did not want to stay. Mom!
Orpheus, who understands a thing or two about tragedy, will help me tell this part.
I understand the native spring all too well, for I too love someone dear to me. I was once a joyful musician, but then my sweet new bride really sat down in our wedding day. Even though I had the chance to bring her back from the underworld, I lacked the faith I needed to succeed. I have not been able to take this home. I'm sorry, my company. I could not bear to watch my other family
Orpheus, you poor thing. I will tell this tale for you. Zeus tried to persuade Hades to let Persephone return to her mother. However, because she had eaten some pomegranate seeds, she was required to spend 3 months of each year in the underworld. Each year, while Persephone was in the underworld, Demeter would grieve, and nothing would grow on earth. Kind Demeter taught mankind to harvest crops and store food, so that people would not go hungry in the winter. Then, when Persephone returned to her mother, Demeter's joy would cause the whole earth to bloom, and mankind will rejoice at the return of spring.
Whew, I'm glad that worked out. I get nervous about that every year. And now here's Poseidon, Lord of the Sea.
Like the sea, I can be moody and unpredictable. People call me weird shakers because when I hit my dragon upon the ground, the earth shakes and cracks. And when I strike the sea, huge waves rise up, destroying everything in their path. But when I am calm, the sea is still. You won't often find me at home. Being the creator of forces, I'd rather race the waves with my swift steeds.
Now that all my siblings are seated, I like and mate my like my children, hermits, baby and fish.
Hephaestus, the god of smiths and fire.
Daddy, piece of hard work and my mother you made it good as my word. I don't know what the box is. One day when my parents were arguing, I took care of his side. That made him so mad that he grabbed me by the leg and threw me all the way down to Island of London. Ever since I walked as steadily as he now sees, despite my weak legs, I am a skilled metalsmith. In fact, I make these skills for 20 weeks of my handiwork.
Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty.
I am not a child of Zeus. I have neither a mother nor a father. One day, mysteriously rose out of the sea on a fishing boat. The west wind spotted me and blew me toward the island of Cythera. There, the three graces freed me and dressed me in fine garments. Then they sent me in a golden chariot to Mount Olympus. Zeus is right, since I'm so beautiful. The gods would fight to marry me. So he chose my husband, Hephaestus, for me. To be honest, I'd rather marry the tall and handsome Ares.
Well, look who it is, Ares, my tall and handsome brother.
I am Ares, god of war. I am great. Some people think I'm cruel because I love fighting, for fighting's sake. I don't care what side I'm on, unless there's much bloodshed. I have killed many with this sword. Oh, Mommy, you hurt my finger.
Stop your rag and be seated. Athena, the goddess of wisdom.
That is my brother, but none of us are very fond of him. He's so cruel and bloodthirsty, not to mention arrogant. I am my father's favorite child. Hi, Daddy. We have a very special bond. You see, I was born fully grown, right out of my father's womb. That's because he swallowed my mother so he'd never be without her prudent counsel. This shield has helped me in many battles. Unlike my brother Ares, I only fight for just causes. Perhaps you've heard of the city of Athens. I won that city in a contest against my uncle Poseidon. He gave the city useless salty springs. I gave them an olive tree with its many branches for uses. Naturally, the people liked my gift better. So now I watch over the city and shower them with skills in arts and crafts.
The radiant twins, Apollo and Artemis.
I'm Apollo, the god of light, music, and reason. And this is my twin sister Artemis. I am the goddess of the hunt, and all need one crimson. My father gave each of us these bows along with the set of arrows. My arrows are sharp and strong like the rays of the sun. My arrows are as gentle as moonlight and give no pain to whomever they hit. I love the free Although Apollo sent a scorpion that killed Orion, I soon forgave him. Together we fashioned Orion's image into the brightest constellation of the winter sky. That way, my dear friend will never be forgotten.
Reading about the music, I train their nieces to sing beautiful melodies together. I use my lyre to help them tune their voices. I trained my entire herd of secret white cows for this lyre, but I will let my brother Hermes play this one.
Ooh, my turn. Hermes got up a lot of things at your service. I remember that day well. It all started when I decided to be an Olympian god. I was born in a cave, but being such a son, I felt that I deserved to live on Mount Olympus. So one day, just after I was born, I stole 50 of Apollo's sacred rat cows in a very clever way. I hid them, sacrificed 2 of them to the Olympian gods, and used their entrails to make the strings to the very first lyre. And Apollo came looking for me. I returned the innocent. Oddly, he didn't believe me. So he chased me up to Mount Olympus, where Zeus encouraged me to make amends. I offered Apollo my lyre in exchange for all of his cows and his magic wand. A pretty good bargain, wouldn't you agree? Zeus was so proud of my cleverness that he made me one of the Olympian gods. My plan had worked.
So you see, Hermes' ability to talk himself out of trouble and his quick thinking made him the perfect god of merchants, travelers, thieves, and all those who live by their wits. His cleverness made him well qualified for a few other jobs as well. For the gods, he acted as their herald, always knowing just the right words to say. For mankind, he graciously taught them to use words of persuasion to talk themselves out of trouble. He was great at helping merchants to close good deals and at teaching politicians to speak convincingly. A faithful guide, he kindly led travelers to the best roads and led the dead to their final home in the underworld. Now all the thrones are full.